show starts in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
Hey everybody, and welcome back to the Crypto Night Show. Your host Superman in the house. Well, we've got a lot of things happening in the world right now. We're going to talk about a little bit of our politics to start the show, and then we'll get into our usual crypto coverage. We're going to cover obviously crypto with Bitcoin and Ethereum and explore those right now. We're going to look at the big digital asset treasuries that are leading the way on Bitcoin and Ethereum, both of course Strategy from Michael Saylor and Bitmine Immersion from Tom Lee. So we're going to get into that. And then we're going to look at Pulsechain. Pulsechain really under pressure right now. We're trying to find a bottom here for all these markets. So we're going to check that out too and look at some of the latest news in Pulsechain as well while we go. So definitely good buying, but a lot of fear. Buying during a lot of fear. When is the bottom in? Well, we have, we have the some insights into that, I would suggest. But of course, we've got the conflict in Iran a bit bigger than people would have imagined only a week ago. Victory is happening, but it's in a messy way, I would say, in a messy way. And it may be only a couple of weeks until the regime starts to collapse from within. Remember, they're not just fighting the United States and Israel, but they're also fighting probably the majority of the people, about 80, maybe even to 90% of the people wanting to get rid of the regime. And that starts to weigh in as they get weaker. So they are getting weaker. And they've been, doing some pretty unusual things. So we're going to get into all that. I hope you enjoy them. But before we do that, let's get into some of the. I just want to go quickly through some of the political things that have been happening lately in Australia and around the world. So we're going to quickly talk about that. I'm just going to pull up my post on this. Let me just find out where it is because it seems to have gone missing here. So let me pull that up. I think this might be the one. Yeah. So we just had, in South Australia, we just had the election there, and we see that One Nation, which is obviously conservative, right-leaning, economic policy-wise party, doing unbelievable numbers. So in South Australia, they have Labor, they have the Liberals, and the Liberals have really got smashed. They typically were supposed to be the conservative sort of right party, but of course they got taken over by themselves, moving to the left, getting taken over by progressives. We saw this in New Zealand, of course, with the National Party getting taken over by progressives. So the party moves to the socially conservative left, and therefore you have both the left and the right main parties, both socially left. And of course, we know most of the policies of the left these days are pretty evil, right? So we have, mass abortion. We have, cutting people's body parts off for false reasons and all these sort of things going on. I mean, the list goes on, indebting the people, right, with massive debts, enslaving the people, overtaxing them, and all the rest of the things. I mean, the list is a big list, so we're not going to go through it now, but we had all that sort of stuff. So we've seen a movement for freedom, and the freedom movement really fighting back because the left, of course, are authoritarian, and we've seen them do many authoritarian policies, and most of the policies are pretty evil, right? All the outcomes are bad, as I just mentioned, just a few on the list there. And so we've had some big breakthroughs. So One Nation there in Australia, in South Australia, doing extremely well. I think it's 23%. And of course, winning some key seats in the upper house and the lower house. So they kind of got the Senate in the upper house and the lower, sort of like the lawmaking part of it, and so they've started winning seats in the lower house. People said, "Oh, they're not going to win any seats there," and of course they've won one seat, and they may win possibly 3-4 seats, and they've got probably 6 seats on the go. So we've got a few of those listed here. We got McKillop, we got Ngarjuru. We got Narunga, we got Hammond. Those 4 already looking very good, and one of those already been declared, which is the David Patten seat as well. So you can see it's going really, really well. And these weren't reported by mainstream media because either they were incompetent or they were intentionally, not showing how incredible the result actually was. and so the seats look like they're already going to be up and away. Now in the upper house, they've already won 2, maybe 3 seats, possibly could win 4, and the lower house there, like I say, could win 3 or 4, and possibly I mean there's 1 or 2 others that there's possibilities as well, because all the votes are coming in this week. All what they have a preference system, so preference votes make it a far more complex. If there wasn't a preference system there, One Nation would be taking up way more seats, because it would be based on their percentage rather than all these preference votes that they have to get from other parties. But man, it is exciting, and One Nation doing way better than reported in the news, and that's going to show up because eventually some of these seats are going to be confirmed this week. So we've got a couple of days to go. Maybe by Wednesday we might have the final results. So keep a lookout in the South Australia election, which is pretty powerful. Now One Nation, of course, going further than that, they are going to. I was going to say, we got another seat here as well, actually, I didn't mention here, but Light, the seat of Light, that seat there could flip as well. At the moment, it's 48-52, but looking very promising, flipping with the Liberal preference votes and Family First president votes are pushing that in as well. So keep a lookout for that, because that could be huge there from Alex Banks flipping that seat against essentially James Agnes, who was tipped to be the new leader, the new premier there of the state in the future. So that was the rumour there, and so that could get flipped by Alex Banks, who's really caused a stir there on social media. So some interesting things happening in South Australia there. That's going to follow through into potentially the Farah by-election, I think it is, in a little while. I think, what is it, May? And then, of course, I think we got another state election, I think later in the year, November. I think it might be New South Wales, possibly, somewhere like that. So, and at the moment, One Nation is polling super high in Queensland and New South Wales. It is astonishing what's happening, guys. So this is fantastic. Common sense is coming back. Freedom is coming back. This radical policies from the left, which are essentially destroying the West, right? Destroying the West and all the identities of the West, everything, all that sort of stuff, destroying the economy, society, all that stuff is being pushed back finally by One Nation as being the party representing the people. And I only think they're going to gain momentum. Really is a wonderful thing to see. The madness of the left has been truly astonishing, and they're only even more mad. So hopefully that's all where it's going to continue to go. And I think today, if a vote was held nationally for the federal result, it would be about, I think, 45 seats to 55 or something like that. So massive representation there, potentially in the future. So for when we do get another country election there for Australia. So really good stuff there. We also saw really bullish things happening in Germany with the AFD. The AFD there, I think, getting 130% increase in their vote in particular areas. And so there really is a movement in the West. And we know that the left is already, cheating and stealing, because you've got to remember the left, they can lie, cheat, and steal, right? Because they're pretty much godless parties, so they don't have to hold to the standard of truth. In fact, they like to turn truth on its upside down. And so they all sorts of, they put you in prison, they'll put you through the court system, they'll do every nasty thing they can think of, make lies about how you're cheating and all that, which everything they're doing, right? They do. So they're pretty nasty, and they got the mainstream media to help them. So the AFD, they're flipping things on the head, very exciting. And obviously we're going to keep a lookout for that happening in the rest of the West. This can only really happen under the Donald Trump era. He is the last man standing to defend the West, and also dealing with the tough issues which should have been dealt with decades ago. Finally, he's dealing with them now. And of course, unfortunately for us in the markets, that creates volatility, but volatility is always opportunity. And so there is opportunity here, particularly when we see the fundamentals for crypto looking incredibly in the future. So it's going to great to have a more secure world in the future, and also a more prosperous world and a safer world, and one in which a world we still recognize as safe and prosperous. So pretty excited about where that goes. So keep a lookout for that. Pretty exciting political things happening around the world now at the moment. So power to the people, is that what you're saying? So that's kind of it. Let's jump into the crypto markets, and we got here on CoinGecko. We've got obviously the markets down. In fact, I forgot to pull up the stock market, so let's do that first, and let's see where that went through for. Stock market's not open today. I just realised it's Monday here, and so we're actually ahead of tomorrow's trading. So tomorrow we'll have the stock market for Monday. So we've got total crypto market at the moment, 4.2 trillion, down 1.3%. So we're down a bit. Obviously, we had a few down days as well. Bitcoin at the moment down 2.1% at 67,500. Now, obviously, we had a bit of a sell-off yesterday that's continued today, and that was around Trump giving a 48-hour ultimatum to the Iranian regime to keep the Strait of Hormuz open. Now, it's not really clear exactly what parts of the strait that I can see. Maybe there's some maps out there, but that are actually controlled, and others that are not controlled, that Trump would be asking that. Now, also could be a bit of a political positioning, but he gave 48-hour ultimatum, and of course then we saw Iran there start firing some long-range missiles they weren't supposed to have, those ones, and etc., and that's caused quite a storm. So also hitting near one of Israel's nuclear site, as they call it. So we'll see what happens there, but we've got a retrace in the market off the back of that. So at 67,500, down 2.1%. We've got Ethereum at the moment down 2.4%, just over $2,000, 39. And then we have BNB at number 4, down 1.4%, $622. XRP down 2.6% at $1.38. We got Solana at number 7, down 2%, $85.76. Tron down 0.6% at 31 cents. And then we've got Dogecoin there. Dogecoin there at number 10, down 1.9% at 9 cents. So those are the top 10. I guess the best performer is probably Tron on a day like this. Yeah, Tron over the last 24 hours. And the best performer this week is still Tron, up 3.8%. Looking at the top 100, we've got Siren up 280%. It's at number 50 at the moment, so that's powered up for out of nowhere. I haven't looked to see what's causing that, but that's a huge number there, 280%, and likely pushed them into the top 100 there. I'm not sure where they were sitting before that, but it probably did. River there, number is up 34%, number 2. Casper up 17.5%. We got Meancore up 15%, and Provenance Hash there up 10%. But that Siren there really making a big move, isn't it? Really making a big move there. Let's look at the 24-hour. Oh, we've got the max chart there, but let's look at the 7-day chart. Yeah, look at that. Just powered up there from $1 all the way to $2.24 there on the BNB chain. So pretty crazy on that. So that is done pretty well. Let's just go back out of there. We've got the top 1,000 coins. We've got Siren, obviously, Bedrock, and Janction there, all doing pretty well. Overall trending, Siren, Resolve, and BitTensor there also trending there. So that's kind of the markets at the moment, down 1.3%, Bitcoin down 2%, and Ethereum down 2.4%. Let's jump over to the charts there. You can see that we've gone back into the trading range for Bitcoin. Now, looking at the power law, or power rule there, which seems to be the best model for Bitcoin, we got the testing mark somewhere between, 60K is kind of the mark, but we got the bottom end of that at about 53K. So that's always a possibility. We've already tested 60K once already back here on 6th of February. So, we've still got a bit of room there to make. Obviously, some people thinking that if we do another little waterfall, that would be, about 53K would be the bottom of the power law there. We've got several other, models of Bitcoin also hinting towards the 53 to 60. Now, that's, I think, not inevitable, but that's kind of where some of them are suggesting that it could potentially go. We've certainly obviously got the volatility with the Iranian war, but of course, if we get things, start to fix up a bit there, then things can turn around, right? Things can turn around quite nicely there. Now, we have seen, obviously, we're going to see what happens in the next few days, pretty key. Particularly, apparently there has been videos of some bombing of electrical works there in Iran, but we'll see how that all plays out next few days. But anyway, so could be some nice buying in here, and keep a lookout for that. Now, what we are seeing that a lot of the ETFs, a lot of institutional buying, big investor buying is still pretty much intact. So they're still pretty much holding. The US dollar values down, of course, and then we've also got the digital asset treasury still buying. So a lot of the big institutional stuff, the debt credit market stuff, still buying. So that's pretty positive. probably got a lot of retail and some market makers selling, and of course the shorts getting done too, right? So the longs getting done over with the price down. So obviously we get a reversal in this price, then all the shorts are going to get done, and the price goes up quicker as they have to cover their position, right? We got Hexcavator in the house. Hey gang, good to see Hexcavator. Work for crypto in the house as well. Hey everybody, good to see you work for crypto. And of course Neil Fatici is here to say that despite the market, yield is available in DeFi. Don't despair. The night is always darkest before the dawn. That's from Neil there. I appreciate that. So that's kind of where we are right now, 67,000, and we're back in the middle of the range. So we almost broke away, and we got pushed right back down in there now. We still got higher low in place though. I mean, if we do a little thing, we still got a higher low in there. We'll see how that goes. Let me see here. We got maybe something like that. I guess maybe something more like that, isn't it? Something like that. So we've still got that kind of formation in there, but we're very much, we've got that 60k in the bottom here, which I have that here. And like I say, the power law stuff has 53 at the very, very bottom, I believe. And so, if we do spike down, we'll probably bit back and jump back up there. But was 60 already tested? Kind of was. So let's see where we go from here. Obviously want to hold that higher low there. Otherwise, anything's possible. We got baseline house. Say what's happening, Pulse OG. So good to see a baseline. Accumulate while you can, but until the money printers turn on, we'll see a similar market there. Well, we already have a pretty record monetary supply. With the M2 supply is already just breaking records there. A lot more pressure will come on the Fed to lower interest rates rather than delay them with the impact on employment we've already seen. The only thing offsetting that was the PPI, and of course this oil price will probably make it into durable goods in the next update. So that will be a blip to the upside. So the Federal Reserve is caught between a rock and a hard place, guys, between employment, GDP, and inflation at this stage. So let's see what they can do there. I still think that they need to reduce interest rates down to towards 3.1%. At the very least, which would be at least a 50 to 75 basis points climb, probably 50 basis at the minimum, but we'll see what happens there moving forward. So that is it at the moment. So that is Bitcoin. Michael Saylor, of course, is still on the move with the digital asset treasury. The orange march continues, says Michael Saylor. And we can see that he's got 761,000 Bitcoin right now. The only one that's bigger is IBIT. I think it's still holding around about 780, so it's about 20,000 more. But that's likely to disappear within maybe 3 or 4 weeks. We shall see, depending on Stretch and MSDR fundraising there at the market. But you can see the big buys are coming in. Look at those big circles. Those are the size of the buys coming in from Strategy, and they've been buying big. They did 18,000 and 23,000 Bitcoin. These guys are not mucking around. They're not mucking around with Michael Saylor. So yeah, we've still got really good things happening with the ETFs. We've got really good things happening with the digital asset treasury here with Strategy, and we've got others coming, right? Planet as well, coming in to do preferred stock yield, and they're both going to be harvesting the finance markets, right? The debt markets there. Because who wants to earn 3-4% when you can earn 11 to 13%? It's a game changer, guys. So this is very exciting where we're going. So look forward when we do power from this bottom, and I think the bottom is either in or very close. Obviously, we've got volatility at the moment, so there's a chance for it to go down to those bottom of those levels of the power curve we just talked about. 60k is a key mark, but 53 is possible, and so we've still got that potential last dip ahead of us with the volatility, but expect this to be a pretty violent to the upside is my guess, leading into October this year. Now we still have the midterms, but I think the midterms are probably going to end up being pretty favorable to Trump. He's obviously get the Iranian war done, and he's probably got a few more weeks up his sleeve max to get that without really unsettling the oil supplies. At the moment, I think Australia's number of days in Australia is about 35 days, 34 days or something. So they're very close to doing rationing policies. I think in New Zealand it's about 48 days of I guess petrol, gasoline, diesel supply, oil supply, and so that's getting much closer. So yeah, not probably too far away there. for rationing. Now, I'm not sure whether a rule of thumb would be 28 days, that'd be 4 weeks, but Australia already apparently had about 5 oil ships turned away, and apparently the Prime Minister, who's a complete clown, is ringing on the phone trying to get people, markets from Asia to supply oil prices. Remember, not all oil prices are equal. There are different oil prices in different parts of the world. So just remember that, and they have big price differentials. The ones in America, way better off, right? Because America's a net exporter of oil. And that was, of course, under Trump. And so you do have very different oil prices around the world. And so if you're looking over at say Australia, and you're looking relative to the United States, you'll see a massive rise in the oil price at the pump. And so that differential is because of who needs supply and who doesn't, and how is the oil flowing largely from the Middle East, South America, and places like that, through to the net buyers. So from the net sellers to the net buyers, how is that flow going? And so that's a big deal there. So Trump there, once again, a visionary, and has really set up America really well. And that is actually going to help lift back up the rest of the world. All these leftist governments with their net zero and their bad supply. I mean, these people are really stupid. I mean, I can't say it enough how stupid they are. Not just stupid, but they're actually evil as well. And so you reap what you sow. And if you're going to have voters keep voting for these people, they reap what they sow, right? They reap what they sow. There's lots of history and that sort of evidence there for that. So let's see. Meanwhile, Trump's sitting there pretty, and the Americans are sitting there pretty. And that's because it's the right thing to do. It's just that simple. It's not rocket science. And so that's kind of where we are right there at the moment on the big stuff. So microstatic still buying, ETFs still looking strong, and there we go. That's the orange march continues, and the move to the upside will be very violent as the stretch product keeps buying, and as things settle down. With the Iran, you're going to see a massive recovery in the growth stocks, software, crypto. It's going to be truly glorious. You just this is the time, to pick up the fear there, to pick up fear. And like I say, we might potentially have one more dip down to 60K, if not 53, and then it'll be game on from there. It's going to be very hard to try to get down there too, because we do have a lot of this buying, and if Stretch does buy a lot, it's going to be a great offset to the Bitcoin supply. So we'll keep a lookout for that. Still a little while to go. All right, so that is that. Now, Ethereum, on the other hand, doing also another great amount of money. So, money's not just coming in through Bitcoin, it's also coming through Ethereum, right, and the digital asset treasuries. And we've got more ETFs coming. Obviously, we've got Blackwell, Morgan Stanley, things like that, Vanguard. I mean, these are all coming. Money's coming from their client list, massive. And we can see at the moment we've got $2,041. We've had, 1, 2, 3 red days, a green day, 3 red days. The last 6 out of the last 7 days been red, and we're right back in the zone now. Like we got out just like Bitcoin, and we're now right back in this trading zone now. 2150 all the way down. What's the lowest here? 1747. It'd be interesting to see if we do another retest of 1790. Remember, that was Tom DeMark, the great timing markets prices. That'd be pretty interesting if we do that. But at the moment, here we are at 2043. Now, this death cross still playing out. We had a chance. It was starting to turn up. We've gone down again in the old 50-day moving average. So we've got a bit of work to do to move back to the golden cross. But I bet your bottom dollar, when we get up towards, we're going to have green days pushing up to that golden cross. It's going to be a truly glorious V recovery. It really is going to be spectacular. Pretty exciting, guys. Remember, every time we've had these sell downs like this towards the bottom, we have a V recovery, and it's going to be truly glorious. It's going to be absolutely amazing. Accumulate. That's all we can say. We got Excavator and House here, leaving the great state of Texas on Tuesday, going to a state I've never worked before. Oh, nice one, the Excavator. Looking forward to that. The adventure continues. Good news there for Excavator. So that's kind of where we are on that. But let's have a look at the digital asset treasury. And we got Bitmine immersion is now 76 complete to its goal to 5% of ETH. Remember, it's targeting 6 million and I think about 32,000 ETH, something like that, 34,000. And it's well on its way. 4.6 million ETH has been bought so far, worth $10 billion at the time this was taken. They've also got, that's equivalent to 3.8% of the Ethereum supply. They have $1.2 billion of cash on hand, amazing. They could buy, now it could buy you 600,000 ETH somewhere, give or take. So that's, imagine 600, that get them to 5.2 million. They're targeting 6 million. So, 800 million to go. And they've been accumulating big times. They think the market was pretty much in on the 14th, but of course, when you got a war on, that's a special event. So you can't, it can ruin timing there. And that's kind of where we are. So they'll be looking to buy the bottom here, and they keep structural support, just like Strategy does, buying Bitcoin, issuing MSTR or issuing Stretch in the preferred stock market. They also have, we're issuing capital here too, fundraising as well. So exciting times coming in. Now, I've done some big videos on Bitcoin immersion, so you can check that out as well on the channel. Go have a watch, it's really good. All right, so these are the big picture items, right? Digital asset treasuries giving us structural support, leading the way, in addition to the ETFs and any ETPs, in exchange traded products that we've got as well. Exchange traded products, a lot of them are second or third layer type of products, built on top of ETFs and things like that, but and preferred stock, but they are doing pretty well also. So exciting times, guys. It continues on. And of course, when we get a V recovery, these DATs, particularly the top two leaders there in Bitcoin and Ethereum, are going to absolutely dominate. Remember, about 90% of liquidity goes through Bitcoin and Ethereum. So these are going to be winners, chicken dinners. We see all the top institutions buying up, getting involved with Strategy and with Stretch, and of course with the Bitcoin immersion, BMNR. And so they are positioning for the V recovery and for the big 10-year future as Ethereum and Bitcoin dominate the new monetary supply, which is switching over from TradeFi into the blockchain and crypto. So fun times ahead for all of us who are here right at the beginning of this transition. All right, so that is pretty cool. Let's jump into Pulsechain. How we're doing for time? We're on 27 minutes on the hour. And we've got Pulsechain at the moment. Before we get into that, don't forget to smash the follow button. We got on X, we just reached 1,500 people, which I really appreciate that. And we're now at, what are we at now? 1,504, heading towards, I guess the next target would be 2,000. As you guys know, rebuilding the channel. My last channel was taken down for no good reason. And no appeals were ever replied to. So that's just the way it goes. So yeah, give us a follow on X. If you're on YouTube, don't forget to smash the subscribe button on our YouTube. We're on 3 YouTube channels: The Crypto Night Show, Superman Crypto, and Pulsechain X. So 3 YouTube channels there. And so give us a sub there and hit the bell for future videos. All right, so as you guys know, the Crypto Night Show is the largest channel in one of the largest influencers in Pulsechain, and the only one that does daily shows. It's a privilege to do it, and it's good to be back in regular things. Now, I have been taking off 1 or 2 days more than I used to, just because I've changed things around a little bit here. But apart from that, we are doing great. We're doing great. Tom Kane in house there. Nice work. Good to see you, Tom Kane. Welcome. And let's get into the rest of Pulsechain. We got day 1046. And we got Pulsechain really struggling here. I mean, let's be fair. 5 zeros, 849, down 2.44%. And remember, the mean sacrifice price was 0001. So we're a long way from that now. But the amount of volume you can pick now up on Pulsechain now, because essentially a lot of those sacrifices, a lot of those big players that have sold, all that pulse has been redistributed, right? So it is still redistributing. And now you can pick up so much pulse for that. So that's another way of thinking about it. PulseX at the moment is down at 50628. That's down 5%. Unbelievable numbers here right now for PulseX. And with that, look at that, 50628. That's unbelievable value there right now. And the buy and burn sitting here at 8.73. Now, the buy and burn on this is different from Pulsechain stats. Their one's showing like 9 point something. And that's indicative that about 20% of the buy and burn is now of the sacrifice tokens are now burned. That's apparently equivalent to 20% of the sacrifice tokens are now burned. That's a really different perspective of looking at that as well. Incentive token at the moment, 36 cents, down 2.25%. We got Hex on Pulsechain. Oh, look at that! Wow. below a 1/1500th of a penny there, 149. We've got EHEX down, oh my gosh, 00058 right now. Combined price of EHEX and PX down at 2/10 of a penny. What a bargain, what a steal right now. And that's down 3%. So yeah, down, and buyer's market, redistribution. There we go. And of course, if you have bought a lot higher, your DCA down at this price, you can lower your averages down dramatically, which means your recovery price can be dramatically lower. So just some things to think about there. There's always a bottom. We're just trying to find it. Damn it. Now, obviously, when we've got a bottom and we got Bitcoin and Ethereum also bottoming out somewhere, indicated the prices. Then we're waiting for that too. Now, Richard, of course, the founder of Pulsechain, has a lot of the sacrifice money sitting in ETH, and of course that there is also required on ETH going up. So ETH is only 2,000 now. ETH goes to 5,000, 7,000, 8,000, 12,000, which is kind of the view at the moment. Then all that gets worth billions eventually, right? And you just shave a little bit off that, you can pump Pulsechain any day you want. Now, the other thing we have on Pulsechain is we have all these idle stable coins. I think there's about 37 million that people argue are just sitting there idle. And so, who owns those? Who owns that? And will some of that being used as well? So, question mark there. And of course, on thin liquidity right now on Pulsechain, which is super thin, man, you could pump it to all heights, right? I think there's like $3-4 million or something in the stable coins pools, and so yeah, it's could be pretty pumped, pretty easy. So buying at the bottom can be a pretty good thing. Obviously, it's very volatile, so you could be down another 50% before it recovers. Just take note of that. It's always possible in markets here, but certainly it's getting down pretty low right now. All right, so that is the Pulsechain. Yeah, we've got gas prices at the moment, 742,000 beats, a little bit lower than usual, down 2/10 of a penny. This is also a sign that the chain is under a lot of pressure. We obviously have to get to a certain amount of volume before we get net deflation in Pulse, because Pulse is inflationary. We need a decent amount of volume. Not really sure what that number is. I might try and do some investigation into that. But we would probably be significantly higher than what we're doing now, like multiple X's. So to get EIP 159 burning there for the Pulsechain. That being said, of course, let's go to the Pulsechain validators. Pulsechain validators at the moment, 52,500. We've been stuck at this level about a week. We lost about 800 about a week or so ago. Not sure who they were, but down they went. And this is pretty unprofitable business, being a validator, so it really is a community service. So we thank you validators for your service there. That being said, most of the validators I know are just accumulating Pulse and just waiting for the time when Pulse eventually reverses in the future. And of course, that will probably be tied heavily to the Ethereum price, of course, but also due to what Richard might do. Obviously we just had ProoveX launch. We saw what he did with the stablecoin allocation, made an island within the Pulsechain. Of course, that got dampened down through other pools being tied into it. Yeah, we're kind of seeing some of the action there. And he's been pretty proactive on X about that, which has been pretty crazy. So we're going to keep a lookout for his chess moves. Remember, he's more interested in Pulsechain season than altcoin season. I don't know, which kind of indicates to me that he wants to get Pulsechain moving earlier rather than later in the cycle. Yeah, let's keep a lookout for all those chess moves from Richard. He's definitely got, I think, quite a few moves he can make. Yesterday, or I think it was yesterday or the day before, or was the 17th, was it? Yes, sorry, not the day before. The 17th, we saw the big Hex OA stake come out, 3.3 billion Hex. I believe it was restaked for 15 years. Pretty sure that was what happened there. And yeah, so that's on the game as well. Now, I know Crispy Man covered all that sort of stuff on his show, so you can go check out Hexfire and watch his videos on that. All right, so that's kind of that. Let's jump over to Bridge. The Bridge there at the moment, we've popped below 70 mil, sitting at 69.5. So we're down about 800,000, I think, from yesterday. Obviously, we've got ETH and Bitcoin pulling back. Yeah, I'm not too sure about the stable coins, but we might check that out on Pulse. Let's see if there's anything up on that. But that is the overview right now on Pulsechain. So yeah, really down, to really quite low levels. We're going to have a look at the charts, of course, but we've got new tokens. Now we're looking at the trending, the top 100 trending here on Dick Screener for Pulsechain. So not financial advice or anything like that. We're just going through the 100. You guys know we do this virtually every day. So we've got a new token been out here, Richard Hart X. I don't know whether it's a honeypot or whatever it is. You just don't know. But it's around 12 hours. It's up 18%, 1,800%. So good on that one. Maybe it's a pump tires launch, probably. I don't know. I'm not endorsing it all. I have no idea. Just take note of that. We've got X Game though from Firewhale, one of our two big whales. Down is actually up 12% off the bottom. And of course we've got pump tires at the moment. That's kind of the main one here. So pump tires is a bit like pump fun, and it's up 10%. So that's doing pretty well. It's all the volumes goes through and helps Pulsechain with the Pulse collection. So it's kind of cool. It's a public service in that sense. But we've got PTC the Greys, pair with DAI, which is often doing a little bit better at 1%. But you can see along the top 100 here, we've got virtually nothing doing well. So it's a pretty down day for the old Pulsechain. And it's a buyer's market, right? Buyer's market. Liquid loans there up 1% at the moment. Stacks up 1%. We got most wanted there is up 1%. Baseline says RHX token is a scam. Yeah, that's why I'm very ominous about talking about it. So there we go. Scam token at the top there, just click here. Now we do see scam tokens up there all the time. Crypto Solver is a good person to follow. He often pulls out these scam tokens as well. So be careful. With the scam tokens, you can buy them, but you can never leave. You can never leave. You can buy it, but you can never leave or something. We got most wanted there up 1%. We got Ink Dollar there, which is a liquidity fork. One of our 4 liquidity forks on Pulsechain from Fast Abdul. That's pretty much flat at $1.02 there. So not too much panic, because normally that might even go up to $1.05 or 10 or something. But that's doing okay. Everything else is pretty much out of the money. You can see Ink there is slightly out of the money. One of our top memes now. I must say, the DELT token is pretty robust, right? The holder class there seems to be pretty tight because that doesn't seem to move around too much, and in fact seems to do pretty well. So we're going to look at that with the Pulse pair when we come down to it. But it's only down 1.6% at the moment. Let's look at the Pulse ratio on the old DELT, and look at that. It even got pumped. Gets these random pumps. Look at that on the hour there. So a bit of opportunity there. But it's the Pulse ratio that we care about, right? Everything relative to Pulse is kind of the performance. And look at that chart. So I don't know. There's something special happening in the DELT token there. Diamond Hand community. Yeah, there we go. 258 Pulse. And look at that chart. I don't know. Is there too many of the large projects on Pulsechain that look like that? But that's, yeah, keeps impressing. Keeps impressing. Inverse related to the Pulse price. So there we go. Some interesting things out there, if you look at the Pulse ratio there. Top Hat, of course, is it's sitting at number 19 here, and that is from Fast Abdul there. And this is not Fast Abdul, Crypto Coffee, I should say. Top Hat, Crypto Coffee, and I got Fast Abdul. No, we got Crypto Coffee here. That's at just under 8 cents. But let's look at just under 0.079 Peacock. And it's funny, I'm trying to say something, but then I'm starting to think of something else, and it puts me off there. But we got 0.079 Peacock there to Top Hat there, and that's just having a little bit of rebound there. Look at that. Peacock under pressure, no doubt, with that. All right, so that is Top Hat paired with Peacock. We got Savannah there, or Sava there, content reward token. That's from one of the more recently launched farms. That's down 1% right now. So, they're only marginally down, these prices in US dollars, but it's really the ratio to Pulse rate that we're caring about. And let's go down a bit further down here. We've got Mafia token sitting at 36 cents from Rackham Rochelle, down 3.3%. Not a great launch, but we're keeping an open mind and see whether they can roll out a few things in the future. So we'll keep looking out for that. You've got to be fairly generous when you're covering these projects because you just never know. You never know. Now you can decide what the probability changes are, but you just never know. We'll see. We'll keep an open mind though. What else we got going? We got flowing down there a little bit more. Obviously, we covered Hex and everything. Just going to pick off a few here since essentially everything is down, just about. So we got a lot of the OG web shifts down here. Dominance, Investor, all down about 5 or 6%. We got Vouch down, one of our top validator, down 5% as well. And this is not I would call it a blue chip, but it's not it's not, it's as Pulse goes down, it's going to be down, right? And that's kind of where we are seeing it at the moment. So Pulse vouchers down, and at the moment it's 1.28 Pulse there. So I mean, it's not too bad if you look at it over a longer time period, but really I think when Pulse goes up, this thing's going to re-rate. It's going to be one of the ones that get re-rated. These validators, these dexes, when Pulse goes on a rally, if there's fresh capital pumping up on thin liquidity, these should all start, getting repriced. So we got two type of blue chips on Pulsechain at the moment. We've got a small handful that are performing well, and then we have the other sort of half to 2/3 that are not performing well because Pulse is down, and they're really reliant on Pulse to re-rate. And I think that's what we're going to see in the future. And then when Pulse does run, or maybe we've got a dozen of them, of blue chips, and they're all going to run. That's what I would reasonably expect. Maybe some of the more riskier ones will get left aside. Obviously, some of them are going to get pumped, and that is kind of what we're looking to see there. So we'll keep a lookout for that. What else we got going? Come down here. We've got Zero Trust. Zero Trust doing a lot of cool, innovative little DeFi projects. Pretty contributing there. So that's down 7% at the moment. We'll keep a lookout for that. Peacock, all the way down here at 1.2 cents. This has been sold off. Now, one of the big reasons this got sold off is because it had delivered a lot. There's a bit of a news gap. They are obviously doing a lot of update features, but they were very profitable. So this is one of the, when I talk about blue chips, this is one of those, a couple of blue chips that was doing very well, and there was a lot of profit sitting in there for holders. And of course, when PRUVX comes, some of them rotate out those profits into PRUVX to follow the FOMO, right? So we're getting a bit of that sort of stuff going on, and Peacock's been one of the victims of that. So it was up, I think, at 2.1 cents, now down at 1.2 cents. So really has been almost halved in value there in terms of US dollars. So that is Peacock. Let's have a look at the ratio. And let me have a look at the ratio there. I'm not sure why that's not disappearing. I'm having a few troubles lately, haven't I, with the old getting stuck there on the UI. Let's see if that disappears. Yeah, there we go. So if we go to the pulse ratio, we're currently sitting... See, I'm on the wrong pair here. This is some of the glitching I'm getting going on lately. I don't know what's going on with that. Staked ETH, it pulled up Staked ETH, and I wasn't even clicking on Staked ETH. Oh boy, it's really stuck now. Not even responding. All right, so let's start again. Let's start again there. And we're going to go back to Dex Screener and back to Pulsechain. Let's see if we can go find Peacock again. Peacock, suffering from its own success, is the old Peacock. Let's have a look here. So we got the ratio to Pulse at 1438. This is the daily chart. So we did, 5 days ago, we did get down to 1333. The US price is obviously down, Pulse is down, but it's the ratio that we're really following. The ratio got all the way up. The peak ratio was back on the 25th of February, which is a couple of weeks back now, and that was at 2,000. Now we're down 1,400, so we're down 600 on, almost 600 there. And so we'll have to see. We are in a bottom channel here, but we're at the bottom of that. So we'll have to see where we go from here. RSI not done yet on that. US dollar price, of course, down quite a bit. Now, the thing about this is that we've got the ZK wallet coming, right? So the ZK wallet and ZKX airdrop, a big chunk of that, I'm not sure the percentage, I don't know if they've decided yet, is going to be going to Peacock holders. So that's coming up. I've got this line here at the beginning of April because it's going to go to public testing, and they're going to be launching that. That's as I understand it, this is the first hybrid wallet, so that where you got a normal wallet and a privacy features, like railway and railguns, I should say, in here. So that's going to be quite the game changer. So we're going to be looking forward to that, and that's coming up. So we're going to get a V recovery here. Keep a lookout for that. It's going to be interesting. 1.2 there right now. What else we got there? Baseline says Doubt Founder is a massive whale. Yeah, well, it shows in the chart, doesn't it? On the old Doubt token there. One of the top meme coins on Pulsechain. Baseline says PRUVX hit my 110 million market cap entry as well. There's Baseline, and Peacock entry 4 million market cap there. Are you saying entry now, or because it's at 10 million right now? I don't know if it's getting down to 4 million. That would be surprising, because it's got probably the biggest thing to launch on Pulsechain is coming up with the old ZKX wallet. So we'll keep a lookout for that, guys. It's going to be interesting to see that play out on that one too. Now, we do know Peacock, of course, is buying a lot. So we're going to have a look at Peacock. It is one of our, I call it the Kraken of Pulsechain, because these guys continue to deliver a massive expansion of DeFi ecosystem, and really the dominant outside. I'd say the other big team that and it's different, is Internet Money Wallet, right? So they've done an incredible job. Over 105,000 downloads on every platform, Google, Apple, etc. So that gives them access to 170 plus countries or so forth, over 40 chains. So Internet Money, obviously a big deal on Pulsechain, but the other one I would say in the making is Liberty Swap. It is really quite the giant on Pulsechain, and not only that, but it's at the frontier of a lot of DeFi around privacy, trading, lending's coming up, like Liberty Lend's coming up. Obviously, the ZKX wallet hybrid is new, and so really is doing some exciting stuff there. All right, so let's just go back down here to see what it's been doing the last last few hours, since I guess yesterday. So let's see what they've been up to here. So 21 hours. So the plan is to nuke the markets, yeah, and casually edge us towards World War III. Yeah, I don't see that happening. I think we're miles away from anything like that. I think the wars are set in Iran essentially won. It's just they got to deal with some issues here. I suspect that we're going to see a collapse in the regime within 3 to 6 weeks, something like that. Liberty Swap says this was impossible before Liberty Shield. Now anyone on any blockchain can shield their coins directly into Railgun. I mean, these guys are really pushing the frontier of this technology. It really is fantastic. It is one of the mega themes for this cycle, is the old privacy there, and being able to do it, trading and lending and everything else, a game changer. Keep them shielded for as long as they want, and later unshield them to any supported blockchain. This is a good source of liquidity for Peacock. So some nice stuff happening here with the old Liberty Swap. All right, what else we got going on here? 9 hours ago. An honest DEX that doesn't favor any routes, only the best filler with the best output earns the right to fill orders and deliver to users. Now remember that Liberty Swap recently launched their Liberty X, right? The Liberty X is a swapping DEX aggregator, and it's based on intent filling, right? So you put your order out there basically, and then they go get on market, off market suppliers to go fill that market, that request that you've made in terms of swapping. So it's pretty cool. Absolutely zero fees as well. Free gas swaps, MEV protection to block bot attacks. So that's pretty cool. Now at the moment, I think a lot of stuff is free. Once they build up a bit of a market, they may start, obviously gaining fees on some of these products, and of course that will all help with buying and burning Peacock and whatever else they're going to do. This is a monster with unlimited potential to scale and optimize without needing to break and rebuild the entire DEX structure every time. Major upgrades on the way, work is in progress. So they really are pushing the frontier of these things. Pretty amazing. We don't care who you are or which routes or methods you're using. If you have the best quote, you'll get the orders filled. This is the principle behind building the DEX. Pretty awesome. Now that's obviously evolving, so nice to see that too. Let's see here. 9 hours ago, I still believe in Pulsechain. It's community and Richard Hart's vision for building the chain moving forward. So yes, I stay. I build more products and build Pulsechain native assets there. Now, like I say, we're at the bottom of the market at the moment, trying to find that bottom not only for the majors but also for Pulsechain. And of course, Liberty Swap is building out an absolute kraken of an ecosystem. And with Liberty Swap version 2, if you recall, they are able to use hooks now to hook in new DeFi contracts and just expand their service offering. And so then it's just exciting, guys. It's just exciting how big these guys are going to be. And it's multi-chain. The value comes back to Pulsechain. I mean, it's a dream come true. They're at the frontier of innovation around DeFi and privacy, trading, lending, you name it, wallets now. This is quite the juggernaut on Pulsechain, and excited to see where it goes. All right, so kind of cool. Let's scroll out through here. We're going to scroll down up here. We're going to scroll up there too. They're just doing some replies there. 2 hours ago. No, we're going to scroll past all that too. Yeah, we're going to scroll past all that. There's commenting on other projects there. So that is a Liberty Swap right now. So the next big thing, of course, ZKX wallet. Whoo! We need more wallets too on Pulsechain. Yeah, we're going to be interesting to see what it looks like, what the UI, UX looks like. And certainly, we have obviously have Internet Money wallet. We have a few other wallets people can use, but we really do need another good wallet there, because not everyone wants to use the same UI. You might like Internet Money UI, you might like a Rabby wallet or whatever. Hope you didn't say MetaMask. Hope you didn't say MetaMask. But there's different wallets people can use. But we're looking forward to this. But do they have privacy and all this? No. Now I did see something that was pretty interesting the other day, and that is KG from Internet Money hit up Liberty Swap and said, hey, do you guys have an API we can pull into Internet Money wallet for some of the services that they offer? And I thought that was pretty interesting. So I think it was for, I don't know if it was just for Liberty Swap, which is the bridge, bridging between chains, or whether it was their Shield with the privacy, privacy tracking, or whether it was for their, Liberty X with the DEX swapping aggregating, which it may have probably been as well. So I'm not sure where they were heading with that, but they're going to be in conversation. So our two biggest protocols, in my view, are now looking to work together. Isn't that great? So we love that stuff. Baseline says it's okay if Peacock doesn't hit the entry, but I don't take high risk trades that rely on narrative to pump. Sure. Nice one there. I'd be very surprised if it ever got down there. That'd be not a bad sign. Wouldn't be a good sign. All right, so let's have a look on the data here. On the RSI, we're down at 33. So you can get my point there. All right, so that is the old Peacock. What else? We're got a few more down there. We got Zero Trust, as I say. They're doing a lot of innovations. ProveX, though. Let's have a look at ProveX right now. I'm going to pull up the USDC pair. That's the biggest pair. Let's have a look at that. So USDC was up yesterday, remember, but it has continued to roll over. Hey, Richard, what happened with the parabolics? No, I'm just kidding. But here we are with the charts, and we've got ProveX at the moment. What did we say the market cap was? Let me have a look. Market cap 115 million. And what did you say baseline? 110. Hit you 110. Okay, cool. Did it? Let's have a look. It probably did. 110 it did too. There we go. So did you pick up? I presume you picked up some there. Anyway, I have a little different, right? So you guys know I kind of felt fair value was around 60 to 75. But of course, that was just based on my relativity to other Richard Hart cores and the utility. Utility is actually used. It actually has adoption, whereas ProveX technology is in beta, and it's still time to go from that, right? Now that's something in the future, and fine. We get the burning and all that stuff happening from that. Great. But at the moment, I just felt it's a speculation, right? Speculation. But the chart has been rolling over. We obviously got a lot of negative sentiment in the market right now. That's also dragging it down. And so yeah, the FOMO is over. I mean, here's the FOMO, right? Here's the FOMO. Do we have a little bit of FOMO? Can we change the looks? Let's change the look of the chart to show the FOMO area. Let's do area chart. We should do this part here. The FOMO is over. And then of course we saw this one here. This was the key, right? Do you guys remember that? And I said this was looking to roll over, and it rolled over pretty big. Went all the way down 170 million market gap, all the way back up to 143, then back down to 110, 115. So where's the bottom here? Where's the bottom for this move? So let's have a look. The RSI could still go down lower. We got the RSI down at 41. 30 is over, getting into the oversold territory. And so yeah, we've got this still looking pretty weak here at the moment. So obviously a little bit of buying around the 110. So we'll see where this goes. There's no real history in the chart, right? So at the moment it's just looking like a rollover that continues. We have got a bit of support at 4073. And if we turn that to market cap, that would be 93 million. Got a little bit of support there based on history. We've got these two other candles here on the horizontal. And so on, yeah. So my range down here of 75 is just based on the relativity. It's based on Go Pulse market cap numbers because they're very different on Dex Screener. And so, and that's based on the fact that, well, there's not really much happening with the technology and the fee burning as far as I know. So, this, maybe we should be discounting it down here. That being said, of course, Richard's a market maker in there. You got liquidity largely in the stables. But of course, that is changing pretty quickly with all these additional peers. Remember the other day I did a post where it was $2 million, but 850K plus was in other peers that people had set up, PDI and other things. It is changing, and Hart's Law and all that. So we'll see. We'll see what happens here with the markets. But certainly 93 million offering a bit of support there, and maybe that is the bottom of the RSI as well. Oh, damn it! I keep doing the wrong things today. Damn it! All right, I don't even know where the RSI has gone now. Where's it go? I'm on the wrong one there. That's why. So the RSI is down at 40 at the moment, and we still could go lower. And that would probably get us pretty close to around, around that 93 mil or something. We'll see. 93 mil on bounce. We'll see. Now, I did call the 9,000. You guys remember that? Called that. Said it was cool. With the Fibonacci, we used the Fibonacci on that. Fibonacci extension, I think it was. And so you've got 11 there, and we're down we go. So not charts looking that great. We're also below the 21 moving average on the 4 hour. That's a bearish kind of thing. You could add in other averages like the 9 moving average. Be interesting. See what that looks like. But yeah, that's where we are right now, and Pulsechain's down. So now, question. See this candle here. This was when we got an X post from Richard the same time that a market maker came in and pumped the chart. And that got pumped from the price of 4070, let's say 7200, just around it. And so are we going to get something happening in there as well? Obviously, a good chance for Richard to see weak hands leave, like you have your initial weak hands, right? They leave. Weak hands leave there. You get rid of your real, like your sacrifices that are really in the money, and they're gone, and then you just let it lie. Maybe the 93, maybe the 72 is another level. Could we come back to 73, 72? We're back to where it started, and of course, maybe we're back closer to that market cap too. So there we are at the moment. So keep a eye out on there. ProoveX course, one of the Richard Hart cores now. And did I say that? I did. We also got this ZKP from Kairos. Great idea to launch this project, and this is probably going to do pretty well. So you buy ZKP, you stake it, and you earn ProoveX. That's kind of the idea. Based on the volume, I think the tax is about 5%. So you do require volume for to make a decent amount, and you'll have to be there for a while to accumulate. But launching at the beginning is normally a good thing. You still have to keep the brand awareness up, but apart from that, it's ticking away there. So that is the pulse ratio. So we're sitting at 27, and that's holding up pretty well, isn't it? So probably got a lot of diamond hands. Well, I don't want to say diamond hands because it's a pretty risky thing, but it's it's got potential. It's got potential, and so far it looks pretty good. Obviously, if ProoveX pumps, it's going to pump, and you get more volumes. And so yeah, we'll see how that goes. Probably got some big holders. I haven't looked at the holder class there, but certainly some interesting stuff there from Kairos. Great move by him. For he moves first wins all. Winner takes all, right? First mover advantage. Let's have a look. We have a couple of comments here about ProoveX before I leave it behind in today's history. What else there? We got baseline. He says, I think ProoveX didn't dump as hard because lots of people added core LPs. Yeah. Good point. When it was high and it dragged down cores on the pullback. Yep. Good observation there. Eddie's announced that. Hey, good to see Eddie. Welcome. Baseline says, so on the way up, people dumped cores in the ProoveX. Yep, and that caused it did on cores. Then after it pumped, people added core LP, and that added more sell pressure to cores when ProoveX pulled back, says a baseline. Great observation there. All right, so yeah, we got some ProoveX. The cores getting really moved around, bashed around with the old ProoveX there. We got Sparta down there at the moment. It doesn't have any numbers on it. I'm not sure what's going on with that one. But that's not doing much. Neither is Gophers. I don't know if it's not registering the volumes or whatever. DevC coin down here as well, down 11-12%. Not having much fun there, and that's pretty much it. So pretty red day on the old Pulsechain, and not much really to think about. I guess loan token and most wanted there, looking good relatively. Now liquid loans, of course, are way down. They got 50 million bucks. Well, they had 50 million bucks. Let's say they spent 12 million, but they're making money in the bank. I don't know, but let's say they got 40 million left. After development costs and partying at all these conferences. I don't know. So we're sitting down here, and we look at the pulse ratio. They could, there's only 35 million liquidity in there. Couldn't they just pump a little fraction of that little 40 mil or whatever they've got left? Maybe they got more than that. Maybe they've even made some investments. They got back even more than 50 mil. But couldn't they just pump this a little bit? Couldn't they, because they don't have to disclose, they don't have to make anything. It's DeFi after all. It's 2.3 cents. I don't know. Asking for a friend. Pump the liquid loans token there. So ratio there sitting at 0.02 loan to Pulse. Ouch. Ouchie. Let's go to the weekly chart because it's been around a long time. Let's get rid of that first candle. So, it has come off the bottom. So fair game has come off the bottom there. And then the use price, dog's breakfast, right? Use price, dog's breakfast. That's my latest saying is dog's breakfast. I don't know, it's a very down under kind of saying. But there we go. We're below 6 zeros 2000 right now. And ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, redistribution. So there we go on the old liquid loans. And let's go back to goalposts because I want to look at the stable coins just as it's just easier to do than going to the website. And let's go to the bridge activity. We're going to go down to the stable coins and then we're going to look at the USDL. So apparently there's 2.4 million in a USDL supply. It's just under peg right now, 0.99. PXDC, which is a Power City one, and HexDC, Power City, both based on PulseX and Hex as collateral. They're at 700,250. So, those two were the two big teams. I can't remember what Power City's sacrifice got up to. Was it like 12 mil, 10 mil, 12 mil, something like that? I can't remember, somewhere in that zone. So, the sacrifice projects, if you think about Pulsechain and a forever down chart, obviously we had the SEC for 2 years, so, fair call. Well, the sacrifice teams have done very well indeed, haven't they? Liquid Lions, Power City, all those teams. Now, I've got a link to the old charts. Shall we go have a look at that? Let's have a good. We're up to an hour here on the live stream, but we're pretty much finished our commentary on the stuff. And I don't know, there's probably been some other team updates. Now, we do have the Pulsechain Monster Thread coming out tonight, so Monster Thread number 46. That's all the hottest weekly news, so you're going to see tons of stuff in there. I know MVS Crypto, the editor-in-chief, and Pulsechain, Kryptonite Show promo lead there is working hard on that, and we're going to get that out tonight, so pretty cool. So let me just have a look here, see if I can find the old sacrifice topic here as a kind of a specialty reflection on where we were at. I'm pretty sure I got it here somewhere. PulseX sacrifice, is that the one I was thinking of? No. Yeah, got the link here. I used to go to it all the time, right? But I've got all the old links to these sacrifices. It's crazy. I got liquid line sacrifice stats. I got all these ones, heaps of them, listed on the old list here. It's crazy. Power City sacrifice. But I'm after this site that had them all. I'm just trying to find it because I can't remember the name. I don't have it on that one. So where the heck did it go? Let me know in the chat if you guys remember the site that has all the sacrifices on it. But I thought I had it at the top here somewhere. This is what happens when you have to plan for it and you're trying to find it on the fly. Where did it go? Go? You got all those other sacrifices here. But it's, is it no, it's not Investex, is it? No. Where is it here? Let's see if we can find it. Free Pulse? No, it's not Free Pulse, is it? No. I've got all these sacrifices here, so it's got to be down pretty close to this. Sure, that's pretty close. If I can't find it, we might have to talk about it another day. But I've just felt like good to talk about it right now. I just felt the right moment. Yeah, I don't see it here, actually. Let me see if someone else made a comment in the chat about it. No one's made a trot. Yeah, I can't find it straight off the bat, but I've got the link there somewhere. But yeah, some pretty big sacrifices. So, you talk about what Mintra. Is Mintra still around? That was about 12 million bucks, wasn't it, Mintra? It was actually, I heard that it closed down. That's what I heard. And I heard there was some drama between the teams or something. Let me have a look here. No, it looks like Mintra's down, is it? Yeah. Oh no, I'm on a test net, but I don't know. Let's see if I've got it on here. Mintra. No, it's not coming up either. That was 12 million. What was the other one though? The other one was 9-inch exchange, which is pretty much dead now, right? 9-inch. And that was, 16 mil? 16 mil. Oh my God. All that money. all that money that people gave, and then so forth. So, the only large sacrifice project, and it's relatively small, but the only major, and it's not up in the 10, $16 million like these other ones, is PUSD ALGO, which you guys know we're waiting for that to launch. That's going to require two things. It needs a Signum Oracle or an alternative, which I think Jacob is working on. And secondly, it needs ETH, by all accounts, to recover and to moon, because they want to use that for all the LP pools they want to set it up. So that's probably those two conditionalities. Presumably they're pretty much finished with the protocol. Maybe they do little tweaks, but Jacob did say that he hired teams to work on that. I think at the end of what year is it now? At the end of 2024, and so they were working on it all last year. So presumably that is all ahead there. Now we haven't had much updates on that. Stu gave us a little mini update around Tetra, but not really Signum and the others. So we're still waiting for that. I just think it's just too much for him to do, honestly. He says it's finished, essentially, but just not launching, waiting for Tetra, because they're using similar. I think I think Signum and Oracle somehow is using some of the technology or something for Tetra, so I'm not sure how that links in, but we're still waiting on that. So we've got all this sort of stuff sitting in the background there, just dragging on there. I guess it doesn't matter too much if you're in a bear market, but you certainly want it to, once we start lifting out of the bear market, you certainly want it to be launching, right? And it could be within a couple of months, right? By June at least. So we'll keep a lookout for that. All right, so it's now in 6 minutes. That is where we are on the old Pulsechain. Let's go check and see if Richard Hart's got any updates. Let's do that. Richard Hart, the Lionheart. Let's see here. No, the last update was around ProoveX updates. I don't know if you saw that. We had the update on ProoveX, which is kind of cool. No, that was the last update there. So not much else happening on that front. Hope you guys enjoyed the show. Yeah, Master Thread coming out later tonight. If you're a project team, you want to get in on that, hit either MVS up or myself. It is a professional publication there, and of course the #1 weekly news for Pulsechain, all the hot things happening there, and great for adoption. I think we get somewhere between 35 and 50,000 viewers, and that's in a bear market. Imagine a bull market. We're expecting many times the viewership in that, and of course it's a great publication for the community. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Take care, guys, and I'll catch you all tomorrow. We've got Craig Pitt in the house there. Morning all. Good to see you, Craig. Hope you're doing well, mate. And then Baseline in the house says, good stream, buddy. Cheers. I appreciate the great comments there from Baseline. Very much so there. Yeah, good morning to Craig as well. All right, we've got a great bunch of people watching right now, so don't forget to smash the subscribe button on YouTube on the way in. And, of course, if you're on X, go up to the top and smash the follow button. That would be really great. You can, I think it's at the top here somewhere, up the top right there. And of course, we just hit 1,500 people there, which is kind of neat. And that was a lot of fun. So onwards to 2,000. What else are we going to say? Yeah, that's it. Pulsechain, buyer's market, massively buyer's market. The volumes at the moment, crazy. Thin liquidity, lots of stable coins sitting on the sideline. Wait for a V recovery. Game on, make mad gains. That's what it's all about. Yeah, pretty cool. Now we've covered Bitcoin, Ethereum, Pulsechain, kind of a little blues clues there about some of the assets you should be thinking about picking up. You definitely want to have multi-chain exposure, and of course some of the big mega themes have been going through the last couple of weeks, and that's really good stuff. So we've been going through the digital asset treasuries, supporting Bitcoin and Ethereum structurally, and of course leading us into the bull market ahead. We've been covering Pulsechain and some of the pump mentals. Pulsechain, of course, is going to take longer. It's obviously taking longer than people expected for that big run, and reliant on a lot of moves from Richard. We do have a couple of top tier teams on Pulsechain. They're certainly playing their role in trying to create value and doing some pretty amazing things. But of course, a lot of people are ultimately waiting for Richard to play all the chess moves. And, he said last year, I'm interested in Pulsechain season, not altcoin season. So we'll keep a track on that. So hopefully the coverage has been a lot of fun. If you guys haven't gone to Strategy Club, highly recommend it. We've got the links in the video description and at the top there on X. And you go through the Whoop store to join up. There's also the QR code just below me that will take you to the Whoop store. And it's one of the main platforms people join up to. a day, and you get all the intel fed in there all day long. So it can be pretty busy with information. Try to balance it so it's not overload, but certainly all the alpha drops happening there. So join up today in Strategy Club. General membership Discord is $12.50 a month. Fantastic. We also have a crypto helpline in there and a whole ton of resources. But probably the best thing, as in life, we've got many great people in there. So if you love great people, great place to be in the old Discord there. All right, take care and bye for now. Catch you again on tomorrow's show. As you guys know, sometimes I do 2 shows, but really not today probably. All right, catch you tomorrow. Bye for now.